Here we go, big dog. Hi, welcome to Control Talk Now for the week ending February 21st, 2016. My name is Eric Stromquist, and you are watching or listening to Control Talk Now, your smart buildings videocast and or podcast. So with that, let me welcome my co-host. You might know him as the man. You might know him as the myth. You might know him as a legend.
You might not know him at all.
You might not know him all, but if you don't, watch this show and you will. Welcome to the show, Myers. Kenny, welcome,
Thank
buddy.
you. Thank you very much, Eric. As always, it's a pleasure to be here. It's fun. It's exciting. I can't tell you that I'd rather spend the Sunday morning doing this show than watching football.
We're playing golf, buddy, right?
You're right. And playing golf.
But you're not getting not much good golfing weather in Pittsburgh today, huh?
No, but it is pretty mild. It's probably like 50 degrees, maybe. It's milder than normal.
I got you. So 50 degrees in Pittsburgh this time of year, you got people out trying to get suntans, right?
There's a lot of streaking going on, a lot of lid behavior because the weather is just so conducive to shedding all those winter garments. And no, it's still too cold to be messed around. And it's not even funny because I'm still looking at mounds of snow. So, but it's supposed to get warm, and then we're gonna have problems with flooding. So it's just up and down, back and forth, ebb and flow. But what's Georgia like?
No, I want to ask
24 degrees.
Yeah, well, no, it's nice down here. It's a little brisk for us. But I want to ask you a question. I remember years back, not too many years back, Pittsburgh was voted like the number one city to live in. Especially if you were a younger person. Lots going on for young people and all. It seems like a really cool place. Is that still the case? You think?
I think you're referring to the Rand McNally.
I think that was it. Yeah.
And Pittsburgh was the in the 10 most livable cities in America.
Yeah.
And twice it's been rated number one, and it's based on 50 different factors and to do with like locations to hospitals, universities, cost of living, inflation rates, unemployment. Just so many factors that some of it wouldn't really wouldn't really track, but somebody else does, like. Congestion, traffic, airports, proximity to entertainment. So once we got a casino and stuff, but it probably for the younger couple trying to raise a family and having the quality of schools, quality of education, and then having low crime. Even though Pittsburgh has its share of black eyes, like every other city. If you have over 200,000 people, you're going to have issues with something. But it was rated number one a couple times. I think Atlanta is right up there, and
Atlanta's a good city to live in. It really is, and I think the airport makes it very convenient, and the location, and the weather's pretty good in Atlanta. Like I said, we'll get some cold days in the wintertime, but it can go from being 23 days one day in January or February to 75 degrees the next day. So it's a cool, pretty cool city to live in for sure.
Yeah, I like it. I've always enjoyed Atlanta, and Savannah's a real pretty area. That whole area is nice. I was down there when I was. Went through Atlanta a lot, traveling. It's like the number one after O'Hara, or is Atlanta number one? Atlanta was number one, and O'Hara beat it again. And I think that the airport down there in Dallas, Fort Worth, is one of the biggest in the world, biggest in the country. So, but heck, New York, Chicago, Atlanta, that's the major hubs of our country. So if I want to fly to Florida, I can stop and say hello to Atlanta or Charleston,
right,
or Charlotte, but I can't get a direct flight from Pittsburgh to Florida. So we're kind of B. They rate cities, on certain levels, and I think we're a C level city. So our metropolitan is about 440 inside the city limits. If you took all the suburbs and group it, I think in a 60-mile radius, then Pittsburgh has like a 2.2 million person demographic. Where Atlanta,
you guys got the Steelers, so what else do you need?
Well,
right?
Heck yeah, and the Pirates are coming. You got that right.
Yeah, so it should be pretty good. But buddy, we had a big week in controls, man. So I tell you what do you say we get down to it? And we got some stuff to talk about this week.
We sure do, Eric. We'll start off with the one of our favorite manufacturers, EasyIO. EasyIO Europe Easy Stack update, and congratulations to EasyIO Europe BV on its 10th year anniversary. EasyIO is really excited about a product called Easy Stack. And this is a emerging technology. It's a software technology that combines core functionality of a building automation system, a BAS system, for connecting and controlling devices, and then the added benefits of a building operating system, which is managing and leveraging data. So EasyIO is very happy to announce that they've got this technology that uses tagging and data modeling to provide unprecedented capabilities and functionality. And they use the open standard Haystack, which provides options and choices for the best combination of solutions from a wider collaborative Haystack community. So EasyStack is a next generation software suite that includes an entirely new application server, a custom graphic tool, EasyStack Builder, the EasyStack mobile app, and you can put your entire customer's solution on a unified tool set optimized for efficient workflow. So well done, EasyIO, and congratulations to Johan Chakelrad and EasyIO Europe BV, which is very excited to celebrate the 10th anniversary. 10 years went by like that, huh, Eric?
But this, so congratulations to those guys. I mean, we talk about Mad Mike Marston, Lim Huchat, Gordon Chen, and Johan Chakelrad and the rest of the group from EasyIO a lot on the show. Kenny and I have been to the World Global Conferences, both the one in Madrid and in Paris. Not sure where they're having it this year, Kenny. I'm hoping maybe Rome. But if you're not familiar with these guys, you definitely want to check them out. Their standalone controller, the Beast from the East, is sort of bar none. And I think an application, Kenny, that we're seeing more with that is so powerful. It can act as a standalone controller. You can add it into your network. Very, very powerful controller. Has won the Control Trends Plant Controller of the Year, I think, every year since we've had the Control Trends Awards. And this thing now, Ken, they're starting to use them more for industrial type applications. I mean, there's a video on Control Trends with me, you, and Mad Mike doing a Mad Mike Control Pub Talk where Mike is talking about how they're using it in breweries to do batches of beer. So I think this controller is really finding its way. And I think with EasyIO adding additional things to it, it's becoming a network controller too. So, if you don't want to go the way of a full-blown system, EasyIO offers a great solution where you can sort of build your own. I mean, to me, they're kind of like the Linux of the computer world, right? I mean, a lot of open source type stuff there you can work with. And so very, very impressive.
Indeed, Eric, you're right. They've got all the certifications BTL listed, and it'll do the client server. So now you can use a FG32 to manage your VAVs. And the thing about it is they keep improving it. You mentioned that they had won the award year in and year out, 3 consecutive years, and actually 4. But the reason why is that they keep pushing the envelope. They keep raising the bar. And we see now some other people are finally, using the SD card, to handle all that, all the application memory requirements, all the archiving and alarming stuff where, it used to be an issue dealing with all that. Now you have an SD card in there. So if it goes down, you can replace it. You can, upload, download information real easy. The applications are very easy. And like I say, Mike and the team at EasyIO just keep pushing it. They're not happy with yesterday's results. They're looking forward to a better tomorrow. So it's a real fun group of guys to work with, and products that constantly make us learn new things and see it different ways, and putting more into less.
No, absolutely. And it's interesting, Kenny, I don't know whether you see this with your integrators or not. We see it a lot with ours. They'll use the EasyIO controller Beast from the East for, like I say, a smaller building, maybe just as a standalone system. But also we see them using it a lot in what we call hybrid solutions, where maybe they're using a Distech front end or a Snyder Electric or even a Honeywell front end, and they'll come in and they'll use the EasyIO controllers for specific applications in there, creating a hybrid. And I think it lends itself really, really well to that. So we're seeing a lot of that. That's where most of ours come in, is either a small building standalone, part of a hybrid system, or more now on the industrial side. Our industrial sales guys are finding that this controller has a lot of power in it, and for the price point. So where typically on an industrial control, if you're trying to control a batch process, for instance, you might be talking about a $10, $12, $15,000 batch controller that you can use the EasyIO in many instances and save a ton of money. So invite our industrial listeners out there. Hey, if you haven't heard of EasyIO yet, reach out to your local EasyIO rep. Check it out. I mean, there's some great solutions there. So I could go on and on about EasyIO. They're some of my favorite people on the planet. So Mad Mike, wherever you are, Your fans are looking for another Mad Mike Marston's Control Pub Talk. So how about checking in with us? All right, Kenny, what do we have up next?
Next up, we have DG Logic adds data DVR widget to Project Assist 2.0 for facilities. And DG Logic is one of the number one graphic tools in the business. They really believe that seeing's believing, and the importance of graphics and as far as your ability to coordinate information and assimilate information is so much easier when you use graphics than versus any reading and line by line writing. But Project Assist has many new features and benefits. One of them is the data DVR widget. This smart widget allows operators to easily rewind historical data and play back equipment performance exactly as it was at that point in time. This eliminates guesswork. It eliminates identifying issues. This enables facility managers to minimize development time, reduce energy consumption, increase facility performance, and save money. And they've got some training coming up there. So make sure you visit DG Logic at dglogic.com. It's with a K. They're out of the San Francisco Bay Area, of course, and they're really doing things right because they're strengthening themselves with the large OEMs. I know that they've got a big thing going with Cisco, and you might see DG Logic get kind of pared down to a residential use. The way I understand it, I heard things.
They've been the DG Box. They're working with the Nest thermostat, or have in the past, and done that. So, no.
But anything that you need to visualize, any of the IoT that you need to visualize, DG Logic can do it.
Hey, now speaking of DVRs, did you ever get into the whole Breaking Bad series?
Oh yeah, my wife and I went through that like chocolate candy. We went through the different. How many series was there? It was probably like 6 or 7, and it gets sad at the end, but.
Yeah, but let me tell you something. There's a new one on. You remember the lawyer in the show called Saul?
Yeah,
there's a new series out called Better Call Saul. The second season's coming out. It's just come out. It is as good, if not better, than Breaking Bad. So if you're a Breaking Bad member of the Control Trends community or have checked out Better Call Saul, reach out in comments, let us know what you think. But that is, I think, don't miss TV. And it gets back to the DVR. I mean, just like if you miss Better Call Saul or you miss one of your Breaking Bad episodes, you can DVR it. You can go back and you can see everything just the way it was when it happened. So this DVR thing is really cool, Kenny, because like you alluded to, it allows you as a troubleshooter to actually go back in and see what was going on with all the different equipment, the different temperatures and everything all at the same time. And it really helps in troubleshooting your problems there. So I echo what you say. DG is all over it. And what does that bring up to us next, Mr. Kenny Smyers?
Well, we have to make a quick aside here because when you talked about Breaking Bad, remember the federal cop that looks like a lot like somebody in our industry? You know who I'm talking about?
Oh, you wouldn't be talking about, no, I don't know who you're talking to at all. Ted Houck, Big Poppy. Yeah.
No, he says he goes to airports and people want his autograph.
Well, no, I tell you what, if you ever, and by the way, Hepta Systems, let's mention Ted real quick because they do a great job. They were one of our systems integrators of the year at the Control Trends Awards, heptasystems.com. Ted Houck is a ringer for the guy that played the cop on Breaking Bad. And Ted now has an offering. They have a new company called the Panel Shop. So if you need UL panels built, these guys got very, very competitive pricing. They basically can drop the JSON for you, have everything pre-wired and ready to go. Stromquist is handling that. I think you guys are too, as well as I think Cochran Supplies. So we're hoping to get Ted on the show soon to talk about these panels. But Kenny, I think, if you look at Ted and the way they do things, they're always trying to optimize and find the most efficient way to get a job installed. And I think this panel idea they have is really, really a good one. And I think part of, Ted's theory with that is if you got really good technical people, you don't need them sitting on a bucket building panels. I think, Ted's got those people in-house, and with their expertise with the JACEs, pretty much whatever JACE you have, they can drop it in. Great relays coming out. So we'll get Ted on the show to talk about that. But in the meantime, I think it's called the Panel Shop, SHOPPE.com. Check it out or reach out to me and Kenny in Control 10's comments, and we can get you more information for Ted and his panels.
Great post there, Eric.
That was a good segue, Kenny. I mean, I didn't even think about that, man. You're all over it, man. You're hot today, man. How many cups of coffee you have already?
3. I'm on my fourth one right here. Let
All
me go
right.
ahead and get a slurper.
Yeah, there you go. All right. All right. Because,
Mm-hmm.
Kenny and I always do better when we have a lot of caffeine. And speaking of
Hey,
that, I got to tell you, we're going to kind of be all over the place today. So for our audience, Kenny, I don't have any guests scheduled this week, so we're going to talk a bit. So hopefully you guys will enjoy this. But there's a guy called the Bulletproof Executive. Have you ever heard of this guy, Kenny?
I sure have. You should introduce me to him.
So this Bulletproof Executive guy, he was like 450 pounds. He was a Silicon Valley executive. Anyway, long story short, the doc pretty much said, dude, you're going to die here in a couple weeks if you don't do something. So this guy right now is about, I think, 175 pounds. He travels all around the world, but he studied diet and stuff like that. Anyway, here's where I'm getting back to the coffee. He has this thing called Bulletproof Coffee. And unlike a lot of people, he says coffee is really good for you, especially if it's mold free. But he has a recipe, Kenny, that you actually use coffee and you use a high fat source called Kerrygold butter. You can get it at the store, and it's a really good fat source. You put a little bit of that in and blend it up. And then he's got a special blend of coconut oil, which has all kinds of triglycerides and stuff like that, which is good for the brain. So you blend that all up. Believe it or not, as odd as it sounds, it's delicious tasting coffee. And if you ever want to know how I can talk for hours on end and do this, it's because of this bulletproof coffee. I tell you, this recipe is like crack cocaine or something. Not that I've ever done crack cocaine or ever would, but I'm just saying it kind of gets you revved up a little bit. So
It
with
sounds
that,
to me like
if you've
gas
tried
in the
bulletproof,
bathroom.
no, it actually tastes great. It really does. You got to use the right butter. Now, do not use salted butter. You got to go to Whole Foods, get Kerrygold. It's an Irish butter. Get the one in the silver wrapper because it's salt free. And I tell you, it tastes good, Kenny. Tastes good.
I believe it. You turned me that on when I was at your house.
You had
About
did I fix
a
some
year
for
ago.
you?
Yeah, you made some for me. It was unique, but it certainly had it had a little power there. So it's I understand. My new thing is the Keurig. We discovered the Keurig now, so I'm messing around with that. But don't
Dude,
waste as
you are
much coffee.
contributing to the demise of the environment. Do you know
I'm gonna put a plastic cup on the moon. I'm gonna climb up the Keurig
you're
steps.
going to
Put a
yeah, because
plastic.
we saved those because I don't think they're not biodegradable, man. I can't believe as a green marine you would be using Keurigs. Not that I don't use them too, but
Dissolves in 20,000 years. I mean, put yourself in geological time. I mean,
well, and
it's
if you drink bulletproof coffee, according to this guy, you'll be around 20,000 years from now.
hey,
So
I finally discovered everybody wants to put it to sleep. Okay, it took me a little while before I got on board with the Keurig, and now I finally get there. Now everybody's telling me it's bad.
I'm
It's
teasing,
bad for
man.
the
I use it.
environment.
I use it too. But
No, we have both now. We've transitioned, so we get some. Our friends are into coffee now, and we've got some really interesting coffees from around the world. But you stuff them into the little Keurig carrier.
yeah.
You know, so then I don't feel as bad. But I still I can't say that I'm 100% non-plastic user because I do use it, and it's very convenient and it's good coffee. So
Well, now our Irish friend John Donahue and James Donahue from Controls Consultants out of Boston, Mass, will tell you that the only way to drink Keurig coffee is with Irish whiskey in it. They've got their Irish version of it, right?
well, that's
All
why
right, let's
John
get on.
does
Kenny,
so
why
well.
are we talking about this? We're wasting people's time. What was our next post, buddy? Come on, man.
Link Spring. We have a post with Link Spring with a partnership. So Link Spring Inc. reaches out to India and announces partnership with CICC Automation Technologies PVT Limited. This is a press release from Mark Petar. It came out this week, and it's a partnership extends Link Spring's enabling technologies of building automation and energy management and IoT to meet new opportunities within India and the Middle East. So very exciting news for CICC. The CICC Automation Technologies will distribute and offer full line of LinkSpring product, solution, service, support. This includes the Genesis building operating system powered by the Niagara framework. So just wanted to get a quote there from Samir. He says, "We are pleased to establish this agreement in that we are thrilled about this appointment and partnership. The combination of LinkSpring's products and solutions with the CIC automation expertise and deployment capabilities show our strong commitments to the market by offering a full system solution from the world-renowned brands packed with inventory. And it's just a great, exciting moment in time for both LinkSpring and CICC. Well done.
Well, Samir Prada, that name sounds familiar. Where do I know that from, Kenny?
Well, he is the director of Control Trends India now. He's running that controltrends.india site, and it's doing real well. And they're getting ready for a big the ACRIX show in India. ACRIX 2016 is going to start February 24th, 5th, and 6th in Mumbai. at the Bombay Convention Center. So that's probably where you heard it.
Well, and I tell you what, obviously I know Samir is, and we're really happy to have him on board. And it's kind of great. We had a big following in India to begin with, Kenny, and now with Samir on board, who is an integrator, has got his feet on the street. He's a lot like me and you in the fact that he's working in the industry every single day. And we really feel like that India is just a mecca for control systems. They're, 400 billion, I think, was what you had researched for smart cities that's been approved. So it's
the number trimmed down a little bit now. They released 23 cities, and then I read it's not quite 400 billion as it was initially targeted. I think it's close to like 250 billion.
But or 400 billion rupees, $250 million, something like that.
It could be, because I remember the 400 billion, and it's just an extraordinary number. But you're right, and it's exciting because we're going to have a direct link to that. We're going to have the Pony Express. We're going to have the Smart City Express news updates, because it's what we do for a living. So to hear another market area start up, and then every time you see something like this, they get the benefit of like the new generation gets to take advantage of all the lessons learned. So they go back to a new baseline, a new foundation where they don't make the same mistakes. They can even rewrite their specs and engineering specifications, so they don't have the problems that are still being carried on. Excuse me, in our country, where you've got lighting still not talking to the building management system, and the silos are really difficult to kind of merge into one unified specification. It reminded me of the Air Force, where you had the Strategic Air Command, the Military Airlift Command, and the Tactical Airlift Command. And then one day somebody said, you know what, we've got complicity galore here. Why don't we just crunch them all together and make the unified command? And they were able to release a lot of the overhead, all the duplicities. They had all the hierarchies got basically controlled by one, and it worked. It was very, very effective. And we need to continue to happen in the building management industry, in the building, in the construction industry, and to see these people have to see the emerging market in India have that opportunity to restake that whole approach. It's just as exciting as could be.
Absolutely, Kenny. So what do we have up next, big dog?
Well, we got another post on the 2015 Control Trends Awards. EZIO wins the Wireless Solution Product of the Year. And this is an exciting video, because we see Johan Shacklerud from the just our earlier post with a 10-year reunion, or 10-year anniversary, of EZIO Europe. They already got their trophy, because the Europeans are much further deployed in ocean technologies, the wireless technologies, than we are in North America. All their hotel hospitality suites are using an ocean. Not all of them, of course, but a vast majority of them, and they're very efficient because they just don't have as much energy to waste, and they're very fuel conscientious and very energy conscientious in Europe. So an ocean has taken a lead in providing interior control of a hospitality space. So,
and obviously EZIO, took that and ran with it. I mean, I was really happy to see them win that award, and sort of surprised a little bit. But I think, Kenny, it sort of gets back to something we talk a lot about. The word I never can pronounce. It starts with a co and has something to do with the competition.
Co-opetition.
Co-opetition. There you go. Because here you go. It seems like in the networked economy, which we're in now, it really is about combining different technologies and working with somebody who might be a competitor or might not have anything directly to do with you. And it seems like EZIOs are masters at not only creating great products, but at the same time incorporating other people's technologies and improving upon it. I think this is a great example.
Yeah, because you can't make it all A to Z. We talked about some of the trends, and one was collaboration. One being that there's a connected community out there. In order to really achieve this smart, connected, intelligent building, you need more than one manufacturer or one provider. But if you can collaborate and everybody does what they kind of do best, and you overlay that, like similar to how Project Haystack just took hold and kept growing, we're seeing people do that in the marketplace, where they might not have the best overall this, or they need a sensor from here. But when they work together and they collaborate, and then they use the co-opetition where they're not aiming at each other's markets, but they're creating new markets, well, that's where you're seeing the greatest progress. That's where you're seeing people really and truly express the success. That's where you see a lot of people really love to do their job, because every day is an adventure. They get a chance to try their ideas out on a new market, not try to go back in and fight over an old market,
Well, I tell you what, to me, EasyIO, I mean, we got a lot of innovative people in our industry, and those guys just, like you said, they tend to have a lot of fun doing it. So congratulations to them on that award. And hey, our next post seems like we heard from an old friend.
We sure did. Fred Gordy, our cybersecurity recipient award, the Control Trends Awards gave out two cybersecurity awards. One went to Mark Peacock of LinkSpring, and the other one went to Fred Gordy of SmartCore. And Fred Gordy has done just a tremendous amount of education. And when you provide education to the industry at large, basically because you want to see it start to do something about the issues, we see another great post, another seminal document where he uses the bait for the T-Rex cage. It's a goat inside a little cage, and I saw the movie, and you can't miss it. If you saw any of the Jurassic Parks, you see how they feed the big animals there. And so he says, what does the picture of a goat inside of the feeding cage of T-Rex represent? And it's so what does it have to do with the control systems? Well, Fred said, I have the fortune of being able to speak at different events over the past couple of years in an effort to explain IT and OT and how to protect control systems. I use the Jurassic Park goat example in this context. The control system is the goat. It has to be there, and it has to be tied to the stake. It is vulnerable and not able to protect itself. We have to put a cage around it to keep T-Rex out. And it's probably a very cool analogy because Fred, of course, takes it into a deeper dive where he talks some countries are making strides to harden their systems, encode and decode, encrypt, and between the motherboard and the daughter boards, and then a lot of great efforts being made. But he's saying that he's got another list. He's not happy with the progress, and he said, hey, everybody has to take responsibility. And then he gives a great set of instructions. I mean, he literally goes A to Z. That's the stuff you should hang up on the break room refrigerators, and because it just reminds you. Again, like if you've ever spent any time in the military, you'll see you're part of the problem, you're part of the solution. They obligate every single person to be knowledgeable, to be on the lookout, to be involved, to be committed to a successful program of cybersecurity. So he spells it out. There's about probably 30 different recommendations on how to protect yourself and your organization from cybersecurity hacking.
It's good stuff, Kenny. Good stuff. Good stuff. A special thanks to Fred for that. And again, we'll endeavor to get Fred back on the show, see what he's up to, because he's staying on top of things, Kenny Smyers.
He sure is. He's a very knowledgeable guy. And like I say, I love reading his stuff because he speaks in layman's terms. Sometimes you can read stuff and then you have to read it again and you're still not sure exactly what was what I'm supposed to do here. But the takeaways are very clear, crystal clear takeaways. And please visit Control Trends and up in the search bar, type in Fred Gordy, and all of his articles, all of his past seminal documents will come into play one after another. And if you're looking for a good reinforcement or a good starting point about cybersecurity, that's a great place to go.
I suspect there was another big hack this week, wasn't there?
Yeah. The IBM X-Force went out and they went through the D-Link router, and they were able to go into the D-Link router and just make it give away the kitchen, gave away the whole store because they could go in through the D-Link router and then the permissions. The unfortunate situation was that the guy or the person that used this router used the same passwords, so they could use the same password once they learned it from the router, it was the same one for the access to the building management system, and from there they wreaked havoc. Improved havoc can be wreaked. So it's kind of a black eye for the industry, but it wasn't the manufacturer's fault. As far as I'm concerned, you can take a horse to water, but you can't make it drink.
Right.
Somebody's still using admin, 1, 2, 3, 4 as passwords, and it makes me think again about my password vulnerability, and how I can tell you that anybody is subject to getting hacked. And that's another thing Fred Gordy reminds everybody. It's like it's not a question of if, it's a question of when.
Yeah.
And you should have plans in place to notify your insurance company. The insurance companies came out with a $7.5 billion global industry now for cybersecurity. That's the estimated value of what the market is for cybersecurity now global. $7.5 billion. Wow. So you're going to see a lot more people producing products and solutions. And like I say, if you read Fred's post and you take some of those basic steps, it reduces your vulnerability, especially from the robots, especially from the bots, where it's just going up and down to see if you have a port open, and in fact, you've done those great posts on Link Springs.
I was just going to say, the
Cybersecurity.
other guy that we need to acknowledge, since we're talking about, people in our industry that are really shining the light on cybersecurity, and we should get on the show to talk to us if we can get on this schedule, because this guy stays super busy, is Mark Peacock. And LinkSpring has a very nice solution, the Cyber Pro, that is another step that you can put in it. And Kenny, my take on it is there's not one individual thing that's going to prevent this. Matter of fact, you might not be able to prevent it at all if somebody's that damn determined, but you can certainly put hurdles that they have to jump over. And I think it's a little bit like, what's the story you told me once about the two guys getting chased by the bear, and the one guy's running faster than the other guy and goes,
he starts to tie his shoelaces. He says,
we're never going to be able to outrun the bear. He goes, I don't have to outrun the bear. I just have to outrun you. So, Mark Peacock, if you're listening, we'd love to get you back on the show to talk about cybersecurity, because I think LinkSpring is making some really, really nice inroads to offer some solutions.
Mark and another building automation expert did a LinkSpring 30 minutes seminar on cybersecurity, the business stick, the business end of cybersecurity. And that's where Mark makes the case. Not everybody goes on it because not everybody's a LinkSpring partner. So that's the only limit there. But
maybe we could get Mark to let us release that on Control Trends. That might be a great thing to do.
Yeah, because again, having guidance is what do they say? Admitting that you have vulnerabilities and admitting that you got a situation is the first step. So everybody has one; they just don't know it yet. And but I think we're getting better. A lot of people I work with now, that's the first concern, and you got to get the IT involved. The IT is in charge of protecting the data, the records, the financials, and we're responsible for the operation technology. We turn things off and on. We do the control loops, the temperature loops, the pressure loops, whatever. But what happens now is we can share, we get synergy now and effort if we really work better with the IT that's been very good at protecting their networks. Well, now they should help protect operation technology, but we can't rely on them only. So it's a teamwork. It's a joint effort that's going to ensure success, because alone, nobody's big enough or can handle all the possible vulnerabilities. You need an entire organization to be aware and committed to be involved.
Good stuff, Kenny Smyers. Well, hey, we got a post coming up next. Our friends from the Big Red H at Honeywell. Tell us
Isn't
about that.
Isn't that a pretty looking thing?
It looks gorgeous, man. Honeywell red. It's kind of like the same Falcons colors, right? Red and silver.
It
red
is.
And gold. Yeah.
Well, it's great news. And again, the N4 revelations continue. Honeywell's Web 8000 controller is now available. So Honeywell is pleased to introduce the Web 8000 controller, supported by Web's N4.1 software. This next generation controller features a new design, the ability to scale for future needs. The Web 8000 series controllers are easy to install and expand due to their flexible capacitive license. Now that's a very interesting term, capacitive license. This controller is very
What does that
secure.
mean, Kenny? Define that vocab word for me.
Sure. Well, capacitive, it's based on the capacity. So you can buy a Jace 8000 now. We can put them on our shelves. Boom. Contractor A comes in and says, I need a Jace 8000. And we'll say, okay, here. So he can take it out to the project. And then when he finds out how many pieces of equipment, how many devices he has, how many points, we can license it to that capacity. So if he has 5 devices, he'd get the 8005. Web's 8005, which is for 5 devices. If he finds out, oh gosh, I got 16 more VAVs to pick up on this, then all of a sudden we can upgrade that 8005 to an 8025.
Very cool.
8,200. So you put 200 devices on one of these new Jace 8000s. They're super bad. It reminds me like automobiles. I mean, these things look like Porsches, some of the older, more cumbersome things, they were great looking things in their day, but the fact that it has such an attractive footprint is just, it just makes everything about it more easy. We all know that the 8000 has been upgraded to, it has so many more features than the previous generation Jaces or web controllers. For instance, it's faster. It's super fast. It's 1 gigahertz processor with 1 gigabyte RAM, 4 gigabyte flash storage, the USB flash drive. I mean, in other words, this thing now SD card, and it has a USB back door to it that make life so much easier than it was before. As far as like if you have a unit go down, get the SD card out, put it in the new unit. You have to have your passwords together. It's a phrase now instead of a word. So they've improved the security both to the hardware and the software. All the licenses and stations are stored on that micro SD card, which makes which also makes it so easy to replace bad hardware in the event that would ever happen. It comes standard with most important drivers, BACnet, LAN, Modbus, SNMP, and KNX. And it also includes Wi-Fi connectivity. So this Jace, or this Web 8000 out of the box, can with a dip switch, you can either make it an access point or a client. So these are just incredible value propositions that make this is the controller that we'll take into the year 2020. This thing here is it has some room on the inside, so it's like almost, I don't say it's future proof, but it certainly has expansion worthy real estate in there. It will be dealing with the future. So as we get more IoT and more challenges, and we have to have more volume, this controller is going to be able to handle that challenge.
Very, very cool. Well, congratulations to Honeywell, and it was great to see Larry Andrianis be one of the winners of the PID award this year. And again, we appreciate Honeywell very much, both as Kenny and I both handle the product line, but they, along with people like Johnson Controls and EasyIO and the rest, are big supporters of the Control Trends Award. So we really appreciate you guys from that aspect too. So what do we have up next, Mr. Kenny Smyers?
All right, Eric. Next up, we have 2015 Control Trends highlight. Sky Foundry wins Energy Saving Solution of the Year. And this is a really interesting post. We heard some interesting comments that they didn't realize that Sky Foundry was an energy saving solution like some of the other products and solutions we've had in the past. But when you go into it, the nuts and bolts are that the Sky Foundry has the what they call the SkySpark Analytics software. It automatically analyzes building, energy, and equipment to identify issues, faults, opportunities for performance, and operational savings. So it's a big savings, maybe not directly for energy, but all combined savings. So it does have that energy feature in it, and it does have the operational savings feature in it. But SkySpark helps facility owners and operators find out what matters in the vast amount of data produced. It's almost like smart data. It helps you isolate and look for those sparks, those things that, that by exception need attention because they shouldn't be. You shouldn't have heating and cooling running together. Blah blah blah. It's just. But the deployment of SkySpark now is gigantic. I never realized it. They are now deployed to over 10,000 facilities, encompassing over 650 million square feet of space. So congratulations once again to John Petsy and Paul Berquist, who received the award, and well done, Sky Foundry.
And right now we have up on the screen the lovely Lisa Woods from Realcomm Ibicon, who actually presented the award. So we got a Control Trends highlight coming up. There comes handsome Mark Peacock. And there's Paul Berquist from the 2015 Control Trends Awards. All right, Kenny Smyers, what did we have up next, big dog?
Next up is one of my favorite things to do is track the green money and the opportunities. Next up is the Department of Energy's notice of intent to issue a $25 million funding opportunity for the next generation of electric machines. When I first saw this post, I thought, well, this has nary to do with our building automation and building management and our neck of the woods. But then I got down to the actual post, and it's very important for a couple reasons. One is that it's available. The government, the EERE, is looking to partner with industry, small businesses, universities, regions, and other stakeholders, which could include master systems integrators, and invest in the emerging clean energy technologies. Now, of course, the big guys are the steel people, so they gear some of it for the high performance thermal and electrical conductor manufacturing, low loss SI steel manufacturing, superconducting wire manufacturing. But then they go into the fourth and final category, which is the other enabling technologies to improve performance. And there they go directly down to our level. So they want to be able to monitor motors and the topologies that monitor motors, the low loss of high-speed bearings, the high-resolution sensors and advanced controllers, and improved installation and varnishing materials, soft magnetic materials, and so on to make the manufacturing and operation of this equipment more energy efficient. So I could see us selling sensors. I could see us selling different technologies using different controllers we just talked about. And like this would be a perfect example of where you would take a Jace or a Webs 8000 or EasyIO FG32 and take it out of the building automation format and put it into an industrial format or into just an application format. And I think that's what the big thing about Niagara 4 is. And it's almost like an app center now. They're coming out with a very, very interesting innovation at Niagara, at Tritium Niagara, because Again, you don't have to use this controller anymore just for building automation. They're using it in ships. One of the largest new OEM partners with Tritium is a marine manufacturer. They make submarines and ships out of England, and their biggest customer is the military. Well, they're putting JACE 8000s in these maritime environments that had nothing to do with building automation or building, the BMS and BAS configurations. Of course, their extensions are probably very similar because it points to point on a network. Now we have a super duper controller that can handle that, the volume of data, and then really provide that user with the tools they need to make that information important, accessible.
No, I think you really hit it, Kenny. I think that's a wide open market for, we mentioned EasyIO being a great controller for the industrial market. I think the JACE and the data analytics capability of the JACE for the industrial market is huge. Again, handling industrial products, we're a Honeywell industrial distributor as well as other product lines. They spend hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars to bring that information in and format it in a certain way. It, for the most part, is very proprietary. They have open protocols like Modbus and stuff like that. But again, you're kind of locked into one of these guys. Those are those plum accounts. And, if you look at one of the true pioneers in our industry, our friend Scott Cochran from Cochran Supply in Detroit, I mean, this is a great example of that, Kenny. And I've mentioned this on the show before. I'm being redundant here, but one of the big three car manufacturers wanted to know how much it cost to make a car. He needed to get all the data and get it in a format that he could, so that he could know very specifically what it cost him to manufacture a particular car in each individual product line. And, which is doable with the industrial market. They've been doing things like that for years, but it was cost prohibitive with the industrial solutions. They reached out to Scott. Scott came in with the JACE, and the price point was such that they're putting these all over the world on automotive plants, if nothing else, just to collect the data and do the analytics. So it's a huge, huge market opportunity there. So it'd be interesting to see. Our industrial users, again, encourage you to reach out to your local Niagara guy or Tritium or Honeywell guy. If you don't know who they are, let Kenny and myself know, controltrends@gmail.com, and we'll hook you up. But I just see more and more that migration of products that have proven themselves in the building automation space becoming very viable options in the industrial space.
Absolutely. And that's what we're talking about. We're talking about duplicities, and we're talking about, where you have, very limited, focus on or unitary controllers, and those days are just becoming less and less, or they're just becoming, the frequency of use is diminishing because you're going to take one controller, and then this controller can do whatever you want. Basically, you can load an application into it. You can put one of the coolest things about the FG32 is how you can change the configuration of it through an FTP. Change it from a VAV controller to a chiller plant controller, or change it to a boiler reset controller, and it's all being done through FTPs, and so you're not limited into, or actually like a distributor. Imagine back in the old days, you had if you had a controller, you had an A model, B model, C model, D model, E. It went all the way up to H. You actually had A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and then H. And so you had 8 different versions of a same controller. And I think Neptronics did that with their new VAV controller. It's dual pipe or single pipe, duct, single duct, or dual duct. I mean, you can configure the controller, the same controller, for different applications, saving a tremendous amount of shelf space, cost, and inventory investment.
So
it's just.
I think you're dead nuts on it, Kenny. So here's my question. I'm an industrial guy. I don't know anything about Tritium or Niagara. Where could I go, say, in May to learn about these?
Well, I think you just you did an amazingly good segue into our next post, which would be the Niagara 2016 Summit, which will be held in New Orleans. That's down by your neck of the woods, huh? No, not quite. Yeah. But we just got some great updates from Jenny Graves, Vice President of Marketing and Global Marketing Communications at Tritium. And, this is, like you said, this is a place where you're going to see probably the top-notch networking in our industry occur. Smart building, smart connected building, smart intelligent building, anything to do with the organizing efforts, the philosophies of buildings, how to make things better, easier, faster. You can see all the data kings. You can see all the data people like J2, DG Logic. You can see all the people that do analytics. You can see Sky Founder. You can see all the basically the top aces of the various trades come together in this amazing summit, and it just keeps getting bigger because, again, the possibilities. In other words, even this post here, it says this year's summit will bring the opportunity to attend information-packed breakout sessions led by Niagara's experts, a robust trade show filled with BAS and IoT industry leaders, and a networking with the others in the Niagara community from around the world. And it just announced some of the breakout sessions for the developers boot camp and business and application tracks. And some of these topics will include migrating from Niagara X to Niagara 4, which is a big, big subject, Niagara Enterprise Application, Smart Building Design Commissioning, Edge to Cloud, Niagara deployment models. And some of the really important things that this product is aiming at is the data centers, the white space, smart cities. So some of these emerging economies we're talking about, this product is going to be right there in the middle of it. Niagara 4 is designed to handle that. ADR, Automated Demand Response. Oh, this thing here is just going to give you more opportunities to incorporate more applications. And we've got the post to do the register. In fact, there's an early bird registration. It runs out February 29th. So you save at least $100. And then what Jenny does a really good job is to remind everybody what are the reasons why you should tell your boss to go. Because it says, P.S. Need help convincing your boss? Just copy and paste and start looking for new flights to New Orleans. Because if you attend there, you will have a chance to learn about the latest and greatest innovations from the Niagara framework. You will learn to optimize Niagara's platform, expanded application possibilities, how to lower your costs, how to increase your efficiencies, and how to maximize your integrations. And then the enlightening keynote address speakers, the industry leaders and experts that will be doing presentations. And then you walk away clearly informed. You have new strategies on how to work Niagara Solutions, and it's indispensable for your own personal, professional growth.
Well, Kenny, I tell you what, I think one of the reasons you might want to go is because the product's kind of innovative, isn't it? I mean, people are recognizing that, aren't they?
Yeah. Well, you're just hitting home run after home run there. That's a nice segue. In fact, people are recognizing Niagara 4 so much, in fact, that it won the 2015 Control Trends Award for Innovative Product of the Year. And that's that same Niagara 4 we were just referring to. So congratulations to Nina DeCosmo and the team at Tritium for winning the 2015 Control Trends Innovative Product of the Year. And again, Niagara 4 is for the fourth version of Niagara. There was Niagara, then there was R2, which was basically version 2. Then AX was version 3, and now Niagara 4 is the fourth version of Niagara. So it's built on top of all those existing successful knowledges and those deployments and those applications. So it keeps getting bigger, better, faster, and easier to use. So Niagara 4 delivers a variety of notable improvements to help businesses take full advantage of the Internet of Things, including advanced visualization and the new search tools, the templates, the tagging, security navigation tools, top-notch. Well done, Tritium.
Well done, Tritium. And that is Mark Peacock you're seeing on the screen if you're watching the video cast with the lovely Kimberly Brown, who was Mark's co-host. And that's Ed Merwin hopping up on stage from Tritium to accept the award. So there you have it. We got more award videos coming out for our individual vendors. So be sure to stay tuned to Control Trends for that. You see Batman and Superman, who Kenny can't get over Superman. He was so upset the whole time we're on stage. Kenny's complaining about Superman looking like a little wimp. So
Hey, did not. Hey, Superman, listen, all I said was you looked a little bit small and deflated. I said the other Supermans that we saw, some of the other Marvel characters we saw down there, they looked like Hulk in a Superman outfit.
Now, there was one of them you just couldn't get over. We were riding around Universal.
Captain America.
Captain America. Oh, Kenny, the whole time we're on stage, Kenny's going, why couldn't we get Captain America? He's so much cooler looking.
We had him. Well, because he had his shield on the back, and he's riding this trike around Universal Studios or whatever it was, and he was going from one. I don't know what he was doing. Probably work in some fashion down Universal Studios because it's the. They film movies down there, and they have all kinds of VIP things going on. But when you have a choice, you can pick a menu of superhero on it. We kind of left it out to general voting, and Superman took top billing, and I just thought that we would have had a.
Now Kenny could never admit this on the outside chance his daughter or his wife would be watching the videocast or podcast, but you were laboring pretty hard there for Wonder Woman and Catwoman, right?
If you saw Wonder Woman, you said that is an interesting character that would take a lot of good photos with.
Well, I tell you what,
Yeah,
in an endeavor to keep our show at a PG-13 rating, we had to go away from Wonder Woman and Catwoman.
well,
I wonder what you had that utility belt, buddy.
well, the truth is that women comprise a great deal of our industry, and my daughters, boy, I'll tell you, they both beat me up bad with our models, and and I don't know, it just seems to me Academy Awards and everything, you just have very fancy dressed up people and in the red carpet, but we took some hits on the the approach, but I don't see that change. I think it's our evening for elegance, and elegant people help make the show elegant and provide us the marketing collateral that we think it represents the general opinions of the Control Trends community. But we're open to any new suggestions or any comments that likes or dislikes. We have to make sure we're receptive to that. We listen to the voice of the customer too.
So what we're basically saying to you guys out there is if you want Wonder Woman and Catwoman in next year's show, you need to start reaching out in comments so that Kenny and I have supporting information to support our premise on. Because if it was up to me and Kenny, never mind. I'm not saying anything. Yep, Kenny, you're getting me in trouble, buddy. Stop it.
Well, we're running out of time. We don't have anything. We did that. We zoomed through all the posts, and that's it, folks. But there's so much more coming next week. In fact, like I say, the Ken's calendar is going to get readjusted. We'll see that probably Monday or Tuesday because of some of the events have passed. We have a lot more coming. Probably the biggest highlight is the ACRIX meeting or expo in India coming up Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And it's just going to be, thousands upon thousands of people in that convention center doing what we did at AHR. So it's going to be interesting to see because we'll have some nice coverage.
We should have some great video coverage of that. So if you can't go to India, it's okay. We'll have it for you on Control Trends. And I tell you what, Kenny, it's another big week and a lot going on. So Kenny and I got a little bit of a late start today because my wife, who swears my 3-year-old daughter never comes down here. I caught her last night. She was downstairs playing with my mixer, so it took me a little while to get things readjusted. But anyway, Kenny, with that, let's get on with the rest of the day, the rest of the weekend. And to all our listeners out there, thank you so much for tuning in. You've been either watching Control Trends now or listening to the podcast at controltrends.com. So we appreciate all our viewers and listeners. So with that, have a great week, and remember, stay in control.
Indeed, Aaron.
Indeed, Kenny Smyers.
All right.
All right. Get off here. Good job. As odd as it sounds, sometimes when we do those, they might be at our best shows.